Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back. So today's a really exciting day. I know I've been teasing you guys for weeks now about getting the final install done on our quarter panels, but I promise you by the end of this video, our quarter panels are going to be completely installed, welded, leaded, as well as my tail panel and valance corners permanently on the car. Now, as you guys saw in previous episodes, we've done all of our C-pillar repairs, all the rust repair, coated in Pour 15, ready to rock and roll. Everything underneath and even inside of our door seams there is all in weld through primer, and it's all punched out and it's ready to weld in right now. Back here on our tail panel, we still got to drill some holes here across the bottom, so that way we can mount our trunk pan to the tail panel when we get to that point. And then also our deck filler panel. Now, I probably won't install that in today's episode, just for the reason being that I've got to make some custom trunk hinge mount brackets because we went wider on our wheelhouses, so those had to be cut and shortened, and I still have some modifications to do there, but that'll be covered in a future episode for sure. But you know, today again, focus on getting these corners finally on the car. No more taking them off, no more test fitting. It's ready to go. So I'm going to start off with probably the thing that I'm getting asked about the most about everything else, and that is leading the quarter panels. Okay, so to take you guys through this, and again, I'm going to do step by step and show you exactly my process for doing this. Yours may vary slightly, but the first thing is we've got it pinned in. As you guys can see, it's exactly where I want the quarter panel to be. Our door fit up is good. You guys can see it massaged. The fitment, again, with how much this damn car has been apart, it's amazing to get panel gaps like that and door fitment like that right off the bat, and we're going to make it even better when we get to our gapping videos in the future. But you know, to start off here with leading, the first thing we need to do, guys, is clean this entire thing out. I'm also going to go through and I'm going to plug weld all my holes here, grind those smooth, and then I'm going to get to conditioning the metal. Now, some of the supplies that you guys need, first and foremost here, I got to cover the safety aspects of leading, guys. Now, we've all probably seen the videos of Gene Winfield and other old school hot rodders with a cup of coffee or a cigar hanging out of their mouth and a wife beater, leading with no respirator on, no ventilation, no nothing, okay? People react and respond differently to it. Just know lead is a toxic metal, okay? It can make you really, really sick, if not kill you with prolonged exposure. So take the right precautions. I'm using a 3M half mask with P100 filters on that. And again, of course, make sure you're storing that properly. Now, star of the show here, we've got lead sticks. All this stuff that I'm going to show you guys today has been purchased through Eastwood. You can get everything that I'm going to show you guys that, but we've got a 1/4 pound of lead sticks here. Should be enough to cover our quarter panel seams. If not, we can get more. We've got our tallow, and then also, you know, I use this to help shape the lead, and I'll show you guys how that's done. Metal files, really important to do that. That's really for knocking down, because you know, we're gonna, I don't want to say make a mess with the lead, but we're going to add a lot of lead to it, and it's going to require some shaping and, you know, some massaging to get it to fit right. We've also got our tinning butter here. This is again through Eastwood, as well as acid brushes for putting that on. And then after that, just general hand tools, guys. Can't have enough clamps. These are some Harbor Freight specials here. We've got our hammer, we've got other clamps, an assortment of pry bars, very important. And you guys are probably asking, where's my hydration at, guys? It's 9 o'clock in the morning. Take it easy, all right? So with that, let's get this cleaned up. Let's get this welded and get our welds dressed. And then I'll talk you guys through the leading process. Alrighty guys, so now that our surface is clean, it is now time to start the tinning process. So for this we'll use the Eastwood tinning butter and just a copper scrub brush straight out of the sink. Sorry honey. Not going to want to use this after I do what I'm about to do here. But basically all we're going to do guys is apply some heat, a nice amount of heat here. We're going to dip our copper scrub brush into our tinning butter, and then we're just going to start moving it around and making sure that we're touching any place that we've cleaned up that's all ready to, that we're going to eventually lead. So with that, let's go ahead, let's give this thing a good dip real quick before we start. I really like the Eastwood tinning butter. It's definitely thicker than a lot of the other stuff. It's got little lead particles in it, so with that on the safety side, you guys can't see it, I do have a fan blowing this way, so I'm trying to blow all of our fumes out of here. You don't want to be breathing this stuff in as we're burning it. So now that I've got some on there, let's go ahead and start heating this up. And you don't need an absorbent amount of heat, okay? But we're going to start heating this guy up here. And as we do that, we're going to start pushing in our tinning butter, okay? Just like that. Try not to stay in one place super long, because as I'm doing this, the metal is definitely expanding, okay? So I keep moving around. So we hit all those exposed metal surfaces. All right. So now guys, we're gonna need to neutralize the surface here. If you don't do this, some of that acid can actually mess with your primers and your paints later on down the road. So I've got a little bucket here with a clean rag and some baking soda and water. Okay. Ain't she pretty? Just want that surface to be as absolutely clean as you can get it. Okay? Now, that metal looks a whole lot different than what it did just a couple minutes ago. All right guys, with the surface drying, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna get our paddle ready to basically massage and push in the lead once we burn it in. So the process of kind of priming this, we'll say, very simple. Just take your torch, melt your tallow, so that way the surface is just a little bit shiny there. So that way it'll actually transfer onto our paddle, okay? Just like that, no real exact science to this. And then I like to take a pair of jeans, an old pair of jeans or your wife's best pair of jeans. Sorry, sweetheart. And we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna take most of this material off. And now I don't necessarily want, caked buildup like that. I'm gonna just take the torch and melt that a little bit. But I do want kind of a dull, kind of a matte finish across the bottom there. And what this is gonna do, it's gonna make sure that our paddle is not gonna stick to our lead when we're pushing it and massaging it into the car. And it's going to just make sure that we can use this to kind of massage that lead. So that's pretty much where I want it right there, guys. Got a nice matte finish across the bottom there. Got a little bit of excess, but that won't hurt nobody. So with that, it's time to start burning some lead. All right, guys, so now's the moment you've all been waiting for, and that's the process of actually putting the lead into the car. Now, obviously you can hear my voice. I'm not talking through a respirator at the time, but I'm hoping that you can hear me over the fan that's directly behind the camera. As I start burning, you know, this all the fumes are gonna be directed outside of my door here, and then once I kind of get to a spot where I can work and talk a little bit less, then I'll put my respirator on. But here it is, it's a 70-30 lead tin stick. And you know, we're basically going to be heating up the surface and heating this up and kind of pushing in and twisting the stick, okay? Now, right now, we're not super worried about it being really pretty, okay? You're not gonna be stacking dimes per se like you would with like a TIG welder or something like that. But right now, we're just trying to get enough lead on this surface, especially in these bigger valleys here, to fill this up, because here in a minute, we're gonna take a little bit more heat, come back with our paddle, and then start actually blending this material in. So with that, let's start heating this guy up. And as you guys can see, it does not take very long for this to start sagging a little bit. Okay, you guys can see that. I hope you can. And so we're just gonna start pushing this in. Okay, so just like that. Now, had we not tinned that surface, this would actually be rolling straight off the car. Now again, kind of prime up our stick, heat this up a little bit, start heating our surface up, push that lead stick straight in there just like that. Heat it up, heat the surface, push it in, twist it off, just like that, okay? Now you don't want to spend a ton of time on this, because if you guys think back to when we actually originally burned the lead out of this car, it does not take very much heat to make all of this start running down the panels, okay? So, prime this up again. Just like that. All right, guys, so if you're looking at this thinking to yourself, man, that looks like absolute shit, well, you're right, it does. This is the part where we start actually massaging the lead. Again, using our tallow and our paddle here. Just heat that up. We'll start slowly heating up this lead. And now what we're gonna do, guys, is start actually working this and starting to massage this and blend it out across that seam. See, it starts to turn to liquid, okay? Oop. Just like that. I like to just push it straight in that seam. So now what we're gonna do, we're just gonna start cross hatching and start cleaning this up and sanding it down. So that way we can kind of see where our high spots are, where our low spots are. So that way it's a nice blended finish. All right, guys, and with that, we are all wrapped up with the lead work on our driver's side quarter. Now, I'm gonna go much more into detail in a separate video. A lot of you guys have been asking for just a video on lead work, so be looking out for that here in the next few days. But as you can see, it turned out pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it overall. We've got a little bit of body work to come back and do once we you know, get to that stage here, just with scratches and different things that we're gonna have to address here. But, you know, taking a step back and looking at it, pretty damn good. So now it's time to shift gears. We've got to start knocking out the perimeter of this rear quarter here. We're going to start on the door side here on our driver's side. And first and most importantly, guys, you know, once we weld this into place, our margin for adjustment significantly reduced. So now is the time to do all your modifying and your, you know, your little tiny tweaks and adjustments, because once we get it welded in, we're not gonna be able to do much more else. Okay, so the most importantly, make sure your body lines are matched up, make sure your height across overall is pretty good. Now I'm gonna make a video here in a couple weeks on panel matching, so that way we get perfect transitions from panel to panel, as well as that gapping video that I'll put out too. But you know, right now we're most worried about just making sure that when the door is pushed closed, that it's nice and even all the way down. Okay, and overall it's pretty good. I've been working on this quite a bit, but you know, there's really no magic or real science to doing this, guys. I've got it pinned in a couple places here with some screws, and all you do to make those adjustments is take the screws out, shove a screwdriver or a pry bar in here, and pull it back like this, and pull that quarter panel out. I've also seen on Junker Up's channel, you know, using a block of wood and bashing things in, guys. I mean, some of the methods may be a little bit crude, but like I said earlier, you got to kind of beat these into submission sometimes. And whatever you got to do to get nice, smooth body lines. So overall, I'm pretty happy with this. I might make a couple of adjustments here just to make sure we're good across the board. But after that, we're going to sink a few more screws in here on our door seam and pull this nice and tight. Might have to do a little bit of hammer work to get these to come down so that way I can weld them, because right now there's a pretty good gap in there. But aside from that, guys, get the holes nice and tight and burn it all together. So this is really exciting. I can't wait to have this work done, this quarter work done on the car. So with that, let me get set up and let's get to welding. All right, guys, after a very, very long couple of days, I'm happy to say our rear quarter panels and our tail panel install is almost done. It's almost finished, but I'm gonna end the video here. I'm gonna do a separate lead installation video. A lot of you guys have been asking for step-by-step instructions. I know I gave quite a bit of insight on the other side, but I wanna show you some techniques and some tips and some questions that I get with the lead install. So that'll be in a separate video, but just to kind of walk around here and show you guys everything. So I do have my strikers installed on the doors. You guys can see in here, you know, that's all finished up. Our welds are dressed out, and one finger close, and it's real nice. I'm very, very happy about that. That kind of fit and finish stuff, guys, it takes longer to get it done right, but once it's done, it's so nice. And that's how you can really tell a good build from a not so good build. We've got her welded across the bottom of there. Also, our outer wheelhouse is all buttoned up. I went ahead too, and we've got both of these C-pillars here with the top of the rear quarters done. Those welds are dressed out. Tail panel install went really, really good. Again, it's all been pinned up for months and months and months, so clamping it tight, welding it, and grinding your welds. All there is to it. Did have to drill out some more holes here for where the trunk pan meets the rear valance. That's done. The valance corners, you know, guys, if I had to do something over again, it would have been not jumping the gun and installing my rear valance on my tail panel months and months ago. So because I did that, I didn't have any access to weld on the valance corners to the rear cross brace, so I actually had to do that from the inside, as you guys saw, with those 5 or 6 holes to get that done. But if I had it to do over again, I probably would have done it different. Valance corner fit up though, in general, pretty pleased with that. We can tweak this side right here a little bit. We'll cut that and bring these a little bit tighter, but I won't complain about that one bit. Again, here, really, really good fitment on our outer wheelhouse all the way around. And then again, it is so nice. Oh, to have doors that close like that. Let's try that again. Okay, there we go. So with that, guys, we've got a little bit of work left to do, which will be in the next video, be a separate video. We've got to finish up installing our rear deck filler panel. It's all pinned into place. Our gaps are really, really good. And to answer your questions, I know I'm gonna get it. Yes, I have fit the rear window trim. We do have some tweaks, some modifications that we're gonna do when I go to install the rear deck filler for the last time. But we've got to get our trunk hinge braces and some of the other things installed on the bottom side of that. We've also got to put that panel bond or seam sealer all the way around, kind of the under structure there, but when we go to set our rear deck filler on for the last time. So we still got some work to do on that. That'll be upcoming. We've also got these support brackets down here for our bumpers. We've got to get those welded into place. Trunk lock support needs to go in. And man, I think that's about it. Now, I did get in the mail a couple days ago something I'm really excited about that'll also be in an upcoming video, and that is our rear subframe connectors. We've got radiator support brace. We've also got the spring relocation kit, fender braces, torque boxes, and everything else that we need to really bring a lot of strength into this car, because we're definitely going to need it. So with that, guys, if you haven't done so yet, hit that subscribe button. For everybody else, I really hope you've been enjoying these videos. Please hit that like button, and we'll see you guys next time. Take care.